Okay, so hi, welcome to the recorded segment of this podcast. This is what we look like right now. Sorry about that. um okay, so I'm going to pull up so we started our tier. Oh God, my laptop is having an absolute hissy fit. Okay, so we started making our template, and now we're just gonna put in the label text. I'm gonna get rid of this ad because right. So Georgia, do you want to read out my? This is going to be a discussion for everyone involved. Would you like to read out
Y-
my suggested tiers?
Yes. Okay. So the top tier is, I mean, you could have called it top tier. I think we should call it gag
Okay,
because
perfect.
gag can be good and bad. But like gag, like we are, like this is the best stunt art.
Yeah.
Top tier,
Okay,
obviously.
I think that speaks for itself. Perfect. Okay.
Okay. So the next one is mid tier.
Hmm.
And then how you define it is okay. I'll admit it. This is good.
How do you feel about that?
I mean, I kind of like. Okay. So you have um Oh, I see. Okay, yeah, I like it.
Okay.
Okay, so then the next one you have is meh tier, which is
Uh huh.
meh, simply could take or leave.
And I can definitely think of a few that could fit into that for me.
The next one is oh Christ tier, which is surely not.
And
Surely not.
surely fucking not.
Surely not. Also, surely not is like such a Shayism, and ever since the bachelorette party, like all of my friends say that now. Surely not. Okay, so the last one is the please no tier, and that's get over yourself.
Yeah, and I think this one was the only one that I was like 100%. This has to be um what it's called, because there's when I was doing the research and getting the images and stuff, there was so many that I was just like fucking
I
get.
hope we're thinking of the same thing, but I don't want to say it yet.
Oh yeah, no, don't say it yet. Okay, so what we have here is this is the top tier, like
Mhm.
best pieces are going in here. And then right down to the bottom, which is get over yourself. I've also never used this before, so I'm excited to see how it actually generates. So, I mean, I've seen people use it, but I've just never used it myself. So
Mhm.
this is the first time. Also, we had to use Twitter to sign up, which I'm so glad we didn't record that part because I had to.
And you're like, let's just record everything, and then it was like trying to sign in. I'm like, no, we don't need this.
Right.
Okay.
Oh, I love it. It looks so good.
Amazing.
Okay, now there's a bit of a spoiler along here because this is the work. Where's the rest of them? Oh, down there. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so maybe I could just. There's not really gonna. Maybe I could just edit that out. Like when we
Oh,
actually.
yeah. Right.
Hmm. Okay.
Okay, well, should we go in Oh yeah, let's go in chronological order. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh my
So,
god, I just got a notification for Be Real.
well, you have to be real.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Sorry, give us 2 seconds
Yeah,
here.
we're. This is a really important interlude that I'm sure everyone relates to.
Oh my god, look, you have your little recording thing on.
Yeah, when I got my Be Real, I was setting up and waiting for you to send me a Zoom link.
Perfect. Okay, back to our our episode.
Mhm.
So we're going to do this in chronological order. So to kick us off, we're going to start with Marcel Duchamp's Fountain. which was in 1917. And this is arguably the first ready made sculpture ever made. So it is a urinal that's been turned on its side and was presented at, oh, I can't remember what it's called, but it
Let
was
me
like
find.
one of the galleries or like the shows that's like you are like one of like the top artists creating at this moment, putting your art in this specific show. And it was so controversial, so controversial, because obviously it was very uh what's the word, obscene subject matter at the time to have a urinal in a gallery setting. Not just that, but something like, is this even art? This ready made, this is something that's already made. This is not a painting or a sculpture, something that was created by the artist. So it sparked
Um,
that discussion.
it was displayed at the 291 gallery,
Mm.
like for the first time. Is that what you were looking for?
I think so.
I mean, it doesn't
um
matter.
it doesn't really matter, but anyways, so this was like so controversial at the time, um and really I think kicked off a lot of like movements in the modern art movement.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm a sucker for conceptual art, and obviously
Mhm.
he's the conceptual art zaddy. So,
Yes.
I mean,
Okay,
what
so
so
I'm
off the bat, where would you
immediately gag. Like, this was like for the time, like so iconic, still so iconic.
I would
Like
say
this.
so.
Okay.
I would say I was unsure, but I would say Duchamp gag because like if you think about the other art that was being produced in 1917, like this was something that made everyone question, and people still question it to this day, even though it like is one of
Mhm.
the most renowned pieces ever. Like people still question whether it is art, and I think that is like such a fundamental like part of art history, and I love it.
Mhm. And also
And
like
I've also
Duchamp
seen
walked
a
so everyone could run.
oh fully I've also seen I've seen a replica of it.
Really? Where?
Um I think at MoMA. Or maybe
Ooh.
it was the actual thing. Where is it right now?
I don't know. At MoMA.
I know. Where is it? Um where is it now? Oh no, it's in Philly. I didn't see the real thing. I haven't been to the
Oh,
Philadelphia Museum of Art. So I've seen a replica at
wow.
MoMA. Right. Number 2.
Number two is also another Duchamp piece. This was LHOOQ, and this was like very much in the Dada movement, um, which was like all about nonsensical art. And I wanted to include this one just because we happened to be talking about the Mona Lisa moments earlier. So this one is a like a print of the Mona Lisa with a little mustache drawn onto it. And I can't remember if LHAOOQ is Duchamp's like drag alter ego, or if that was like the Dada group that he was making work with.
I I I don't know.
I can't remember. Anyways, where does
So
this sit?
I would honestly have to meh this one.
I was thinking that too, because I really could take or leave that.
Mhm.
It's really not doing too much for me one way or the other.
Okay. There she is. Thank you, Mona.
Thanks,
Um
Mona.
okay, so the next one is going to be Erase de Kooning. Um
By Robert Rauschenberg.
yes, and I have it right here. And this work was created also a controversial way to put it, but this work was created in 1953. And basically I wanted to find out whether Robert gave permission. Oh no, sorry, de Kooning gave permission to Robert to do this, and it turns out yes, he in fact did give permission to do this. So, in if you don't know, this is basically Robert went to de Kooning and said, "I want to make a work with where I erase. I make work by erasing work." And he originally said that he wanted to do it with his own work, but when he did that, he didn't feel the same sense of accomplishment because he was the maker and also the eraser, and then also the by default the maker again. So he just wasn't really that enthralled by the impact that it might have. So he went to de Kooning, and de Kooning said yes, reluctantly said yes.
I think there was a
So
few bottles of wine in the asking of de Kooning's
sure, I mean,
piece.
that makes sense. So where would you put this?
Mm. Like, I don't know if it's gag worthy, but this was one of my favorite pieces that I like in when I took my first art history class in school. This was one of my favorite pieces that we had ever talked about. And I was
Why?
like, because I felt like, I mean, well, first of all, I feel like if you have a good professor, like they could really like impact how you feel about a piece of work because they really liked it. And so hearing them they were so excited about it. I think it really influenced my experience with it. But I just think that I love the story with it. I love the impact of it, and also like the discussion of like, can you create through destruction? And people were really like upset about this work when it first happened because William de Kooning was like such a hot shot in New York at the time, and so they were like, "What if he erased a masterpiece? Like, what if he destroyed something that
I
could be
think
worth?"
he'll survive. I think he'll be okay.
Of course, I think I'm gonna put it as okay. I'll admit it. This is good.
I would have to say meh for me. This is a meh.
Okay, what do we do if we disagree on this?
We didn't discuss this.
Oh no.
Um, I think we have to convince each other.
Okay, because I was thinking we could either do if we disagree for the sake of time. If we disagree, then we just take turns on who gets to put it where.
Okay, fair. Um, okay,
Or do
so
you want to why is this meh to you?
because I would prefer it if I genuinely thought that he didn't have permission to do it. And that to me
Mm.
is way more controversial and way more daring and funny and like a big fuck you that I think is really like, can you imagine? Like, imagine I did that to you without your knowledge. I think that'd be like, I don't know. I think that's quite funny.
I would agree with you there. Yeah.
So that is truly that is why it's meh to me because like I think it would have more impact if it was like if he didn't know it was going to happen.
Yeah, that's true. But I feel like there's no way how could he have gotten a like as I like he was like a young like up and coming artist at the time and he like went to the a master painter's home. How would you do that? I guess you'd have to steal it.
Well, that it would be gag worthy if that was the fact.
That would be gag worthy.
Okay, well, I'll just let's put it in. Let's put it in here for the sake of I don't want you to hate me, but let
Okay,
it be known.
you
Let it.
let me know. Okay, I'm giving you the next one then. Okay, the
Um.
next
Oh yeah,
is
yeah. You go.
okay. So the next one is Manzoni's artist's shit. So he was. This was made in 1961, and he is was. was a conceptual artist. I don't know if he's still alive actually, but he was a conceptual artist. Um, so he did artist shit. Another one was artist breath, which is where he like blew up a balloon with his own breath and then kind of mounted the balloon to a little chunk of wood. So it was his own breath is his art. And then he also did base of the world, which was where he took like a giant plinth and flipped it upside down and put it on the ground, and so claiming the entire world as his art. So I kind of thought he was funny. And then artist shit, I guess I should explain, was a little can of supposedly his own shit. We don't actually know if he shit in the can or not. And I think I'd
Um,
be very disappointed to find out if he didn't. But did they open it? Are you looking it
what?
up?
No, I just wanted to tell you that it's actually it was 90 tin cans. It wasn't just one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I thought I was gonna say to you there it was 30, but then I watched a fact check and it was actually 90.
90. Ew.
So and each one apparently had 30 grams of shit in it.
Ew.
Yeah. So
What do you think of that?
I okay, so I hate this. I think it's so like what is the point? Like I really think what the fuck is the point of this? Like I really
Yeah.
I can get behind the base of the world one. I think that's quite like poetic, whatever, like,
Kind of cheeky.
sure, whatever. But this one, I don't know, man. I'm
This
not
one you're drawing the
convinced.
line.
Yeah, and also just like I would have to say like I would probably put it in the surely not category.
Mhm.
I don't think it's like that like I don't think it's because I don't know. What do you think?
How would you feel if there was actually no shit in any of the cans?
Cheated.
So you want there to be shit in the cans?
Oh, 100%. There better be 90 times 30 grams of shit. That better actually be. Also, where is this kept right now? Does anyone know?
I don't know. I want to know if anyone opened a can.
Yeah, I feel like I would. Mm, oh, one of his snaky friends, claims that the tins are not full of feces, but rather plaster. The cans are steel and thus cannot be x rayed or scanned to determine the contents, and opening a can would cause it to lose its value. Thus, the true contents of artist shit is unknown. And then somebody exhibited a partially opened can in 1989, titling it "Opened Can of Shit." The can's contents were difficult to identify on site, being variously described as paper wrapping with unidentified contents and a can within a can. So there was like an object inside inside the can. The piece received media coverage due to a lawsuit in the 90s when an art museum in Denmark was accused by art collector John Hunov of causing leakage of a can which had been on display at the museum. Allegedly, the museum had stored the can at irresponsibly high temperatures. So this is actually very controversial. I'm kind of like loving it a little bit more.
Mhm.
That was also just off of Wikipedia, so if anyone wants to fact check that, please feel free.
Yeah, if
However,
anyone knows a lot
I
about this work.
do you know what? I actually would maybe I'm gonna like double bump here and I'm gonna say, okay, I'll admit it, this is good because the unknown, it's the not knowing that is actually like probably the most like funny, especially if it is literally just another can inside the can.
Mhm.
I think I'm
Because
gonna
then
put
I
it.
feel like he's really taking the piss. Because now all of us are like, well, wait, you didn't shit in your cans?
Yeah, and it's also like taking the artist's word for it. Like I could make something and be like, this is what it means, and then like in 30 years time be like, it didn't mean that, it meant fucking nothing at all, it was stupid. Like it's the exact same thing, and that's quite funny.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you. I was hoping you'd come around to that conclusion.
Yeah, I really did switch up quite fast there, but I'm gonna.
Oh,
What was that?
that was my phone. Oh my gosh.
What did it say?
It said call from your mom. Whoa, I, like, tried to silence it, and it was, like, louder?
Not right now, Mom. We're discussing shit.
We're discussing artist shit right now, we're really busy.
Okay, so I'm gonna put it in this tier. Okay, I'll admit it. This is good.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Perfect. Would you like to take this call from your mother?
No, I'm telling her that we're busy. Well, anyways, moving right along. The 70s were a good year for controversial art. We have 5 from the 70s.
Hmm.
Do you wanna talk about this one, or do you want me to?
Sure. So we've got Sir John Baldessari, rest in peace. I love him. Um and we're talking about the cremation project, which if you didn't
Mhm.
know, that is basically when he burnt how much of his work? Was it all of his work up until that point?
It was Yeah, I think it was, like, pretty much from everything he made in school to, like, everything up until that point. He put everything that he ever made into a crematorium and burnt it all.
And something so I knew about this piece. I learned about it in college. But something I didn't know about it is he actually baked the ashes into cookies. Did
I
you know
didn't know
that?
that.
Yeah.
No.
So the image that we have here is actually the cookies in a jar. So
What?
yeah, and he apart so like that the cookies now act as the artwork, and he also has shared a recipe for how to make the cookies.
Oh my gosh, wait, when did he make the cookies? Because I know he kept the ashes in a book as well.
Well, maybe it wasn't all of the ashes. Let me find out.
He shared a recipe. Oh my gosh, can we share the recipe um on our Instagram?
For sure. Okay, so in 1970, Baldessari burnt all of the paintings he had created between 1953 and 66 as part of a new piece titled The Cremation Project. The ashes of these paintings were baked into cookies and placed into an urn, and the resulting art installation consists of a bronze plaque with the destroyed paintings' birth and death dates, so like a certificate of death essentially, and a certificate of birth, as well as the recipe for making the cookies. Through the ritual of cremation, Baldessari draws a connection between artist practice and the human life cycle. I love it. I love it. I love it
Me
so,
too.
and I also love the. I love the cookie thing.
Yeah, me too.
So the recipe, I'm just getting a picture of it up. Um, on. Okay, this laptop is just not working. Anyway, where would you rank this?
Um, this is one of my favorites. I'm just trying to decide if I want it to be gag or okay, I'll admit this is good. Because I feel like I don't really have to admit anything. I think this
Right.
is good.
I would say gag.
I would say gag too.
I think it's
Plus, I like. Oh,
I think it's
you
bold.
go ahead. Yeah, totally.
But then saying that, if I was to burn everything that I'd made to this date, like I would be like, okay, and what? Like,
I joke about that all the time. I'm like, I need to cremate everything I've ever made.
yeah, but what would the impact of us doing that be? Nothing. Like, so was he?
Yeah,
I'm assuming he was already a very prominent artist at this point in 1970.
I would assume so. Yeah,
So it's got to
because yeah.
so maybe what's interesting here is that it's not actually the work, it's the correlation of the artist and the work, the artist who created the piece.
Mhm.
So it's actually
I think
not
it's
the
kind of
isn't
similar. Oh, go ahead.
no go.
I think it's similar to like Robert Rauschenberg and de Kooning. It's like if he just
Right.
erased his own work or someone else's, like someone who shared a studio with him, their work, I feel like it
Sure.
wouldn't.
Well, I'm gonna say gag anyway because I
Mhm.
like it.
Me too.
Okay, next.
Okay, so in 1971, Chris Burden did a performance piece called Shoot, which is where he had someone, I think, either a gallery attendant or his friend. I don't think it was like a random gallery goer, but he had them shoot him in the arm
Yeah.
as a performance piece. Um, Surely not, or get over yourself.
I would fully say get over yourself. I fucking hate this.
Yeah,
Because also it was always intended to not be a lethal gunshot. So like I feel
and
like it
it's
would
like,
be
why? Like,
yeah,
why?
what is the context for this? Does anyone know?
I don't know. Maybe I don't. I feel like the more context you have, the more I end up liking things. So I feel kind of bad that I'm maybe not giving this the time of day, like by not looking into like a ton of research about it. But honestly,
Okay, so it says I'm looking at it here, and it says that it was amidst themes and visuals from the Vietnam War being frequently displayed on American television news during the time of the performance. So maybe I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like even still, if it was like it was, um, I don't know. I almost think that that's like if it was within the context of the Vietnam War, it still just feels like honestly kind of like insulting. It's like, "Oh, here I'm going to like get shot consensually in a safe space."
And
Like
I
it
know
just
that I won't die.
yeah, exactly. Like I'm going to like have this pain, but like it's such a controlled I don't know. It just kind of feels like I'm a victim too. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Or
say
like
I'm gonna say get over yourself.
mhm.
Okay, so we're bottom tiering that guy. Um, okay. Do you want to talk about this next one because this is actually one that I'd never heard of before.
I'd never heard of it either, and I'm
Oh,
glad to include this one because it it doesn't have that like in your face art stuntness. So I feel like
yeah.
this like gives us some range here. But when I was like looking at stunt art, this kind of came up in my research. So the artist Harvey Stromberg, there wasn't a title for this work, or I couldn't find one. So it's just they called it photo sculptures at MoMA. So they had taken all of these really tiny photos and placed them all over the gallery. I believe there was 300 photos that were stuck up in MoMA, and it took the gallery attendants like 2 years, I think, to find all 300 photos. Um, so I think this was like kind of like it was like a quiet art stunt.
Yeah, and I just like I like that it's a little bit more playful than, being shot or like shitting in a can 90 times allegedly.
Hmm.
Um and I also really really like the visuals that came with it as well. Like the image that we're working with is um for this, for example, is I just think it's so nice and it's just such a like innocent and like harmful thing, and I really like
Harmless.
it. Oh,
It's
this
harmful.
is so harmful. No,
Harmless.
I,
Little stunt. I totally agree with you.
I'm gonna say I would probably say okay. I'll admit it. This is good.
Yeah, me too.
Cool. Also, for those of you who are watching right this part of the episode, please ignore our if you just saw a notification that said, "Are you running out of time?" Because yes, we are running out of time because we can't afford a Zoom membership. So
Oh, right.
if that came up, then we're like just either donate to our Patreon so we can afford to do things like that, or just um ignore it.
Bear with us.
Um,
So next, do you want to talk about this one?
no.
Or do you want me to?
I yeah, I would like it if you did because I hate this.
Me too. Tomato, 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 tomato.
Hmm.
I don't know how to say his last name. Akani? A
I don't know.
Achoni? Mm, I think it's Italian. I don't know. Vito, Vito A, let's call him.
Hmm.
Seedbed. So Seedbed was a performance where um, the artist had built a raised platform in a gallery. So it kind of looked like the gallery floor was like a ramp upwards. And then, so yeah, it just looked like a raised floor. Um, and then he spent the entire time at the gallery just masturbating underneath the raised floor. So you could hear, as a gallery goer, you would just like stand on the floor and you could just hear him jerking off for the entire day.
Okay, so that literally I've never looked into this because the premise of it makes me want to like actually like throttle this person. So but obviously I want to give this as little airtime as possible because it's just not even worth it. Um but something that I would like to say is that when I was doing some research, my first ever actual research into it, listen to this. This is just from like the Met website. So
Mhm.
um he masturbated basing his fantasies on the movements of the visitors above him. He narrated these fantasies aloud, his voice projected through speakers into the gallery, and he was saying things like, "You're on my left. You're moving away, but I'm pushing my body against you into the corner. You're bending your head down over me. I'm pressing my eyes into your hair."
Like, just because you're an artist, that doesn't give you a free pass to be a perv.
But this is like beyond. Oh my god, I actually genuinely I hate it so much. I think it's the most disgusting thing I've ever heard, and I do not understand who allowed this to happen.
Like, proper, like the Met, like the Metropolitan Museum of Art
Wait, was it
has
done?
that.
It was it in the
I
Met?
don't know if it was done at the Met, but like the fact that they wrote about it, the fact that it's still like in the canon of art history. Something that I forgot about, and then when I was thinking about this last night, about our episode, is when I read Marina Abramovich's biography or autobiography. She talked about a work that she did called, I believe it was Seven Pieces, and it was she recreated seven iconic performances by other artists, and Seedbed was one of them.
Oh,
I can't remember why. I can't remember what she had to say about it, but I was like, how different would it be if it was a woman?
I also feel
I
like
think honestly, no.
calling it iconic is also just a bit. I don't like that.
I don't
I
like
would
it.
never call this iconic. I
I
think we both know where this is gonna go.
Yeah, in the trash.
In the trash, but since we don't have a tier for trash, this is the trash tier essentially.
Mhm. Get over
Um,
yourself.
yeah, I
Wow. And then jumping, sorry, I'm just looking at our next one. I'm like, we're going to be leaping up and down this tier list here.
for sure. So the next one is by Miss Abramovich, who we were just talking about. Um, we will put a disclaimer here. We love her. I love Marina.
Me too.
I love her. And we're going to be talking about Rhythm Zero. So if you're not familiar, this was a performance where the artist basically just allowed complete and utter free reign over her body and her entire being, essentially. And the gallery goers could just do whatever they wanted to her.
With, I believe there was, I can't remember the number, maybe like 40 to 60 props that
Hmm.
you could choose from. So there was like up like a Polaroid camera. There was a rose with a stem and thorns on it. There was markers and rope and there's also a loaded gun with a single bullet.
Mhm. There
And
was
so the gallery
72
goes,
there was 72 different objects there.
"Thank you." And then how long did the performance last? Was it 6 hours? I feel like I'm just, like, saying things that I think are facts and then they're just all wrong.
Um,
It was a
uh
long time, though. It was a very, like, durational piece.
oh, really? I can't see it here. Hmm.
Um,
6 Yeah, you're right, it was 6 hours.
and then the performance was stopped when it got so far as to, one of the gallery goers grabbed the gun and held it to her head, and then the performance was stopped. I don't think, Abramovic was the one to stop it, though. I
No,
think that it
she
was
wasn't.
the gallery. Um, but yeah, really testing, like, her own limits. I think testing morality, like what people will do, looking at like group mentality. Like it was very, very tame for the first bit and then got increasingly more uh perverse and violent as the evening went on. Um
Why would you call this stunt art?
um well, because I feel like it had, I feel like, okay, so some of the stunts I feel like are kind of like pranks. This one is absolutely not a prank at all, but I feel like pushing your own, I think it was really pushing limits. So pushing like morality, her body, um, and ethics in a way that was like really like groundbreaking at the time. And
Mhm.
even still, I feel like this performance, I feel like um has, I don't wanna say has, like, aged really well, but I feel like some of them you look back and you're like, "Oh, that wouldn't really be, as controversial now because of the context is totally different," whereas I feel like this
Oh,
one, if someone were to do this performance now,
I don't think you'd be
it would
able to
be.
do this.
No,
I
surely
don't think you'd
not.
be
I
allowed to
don't
do
think.
this. Um, I'm gonna say gag.
Absolutely gag. This is probably one of my favorite performances ever.
Me too. I love it. And you can see in this image here that we've used, that like she's actually crying.
Mhm. Well, the it's hard to see in the image, but the little black line that's across her body is a rose with thorns, like, just stuck into her skin.
Mhm.
Carrying on.
Yes. Let's do the next piece.
So the next piece is, by Andreas Serrano, called
Mhm.
Piss Christ, and this was done in 1987. And even during the break, I was talking to Shay about how I was like, I don't know if this necessarily belongs in this list, um, but it does meet some criteria. It was controversial. Um, so basically, it is a photograph of a crucified Jesus, um, figurine kind of thing on a cross, submerged in the artist's piss, and so people were, pun intended, pissed about this piece.
Yeah, and I guess with the framing of the image itself, it does look like you would never know that it's, small. Like it's just a little glass tank that the urine is in and that the cross and the Jesus is in. But like when looking at the image, it looks like it's on fire. It looks very like satanic. So yeah, I can see how this is very controversial and hence why, Georgia, you maybe thought to pop it in this little stunt art piece.
Hmm.
So where would you put this?
Um, I don't know. Like,
Do you like this? How do you feel about this piece?
well, like honestly, I haven't really thought too much about this piece and since I learned about it in like first year. So I feel like I need like a refresher on context. I really should have looked more into this when
Oh, that's okay. Well, let's do a bit of reading just now. So,
Because what do you think of this piece?
um, I don't really have an opinion on it at all. Like, I am not religious, so it definitely doesn't have an impact on me directly. So I feel like maybe it's not that I don't understand um why it would be something that's very offensive.
Hmm.
I just don't find it offensive at all.
Yeah, and honestly, I feel like the photo of the work, like it looks quite beautiful in my opinion.
Mhm. Fair. It's a
Like
fair
colors
point.
and lighting and everything. I think I
Mhm.
might put this as or wait, sorry, what were you gonna do you have
Well, I
anything
was
to
just yeah, I just found an article from The Guardian from 2011 that says that Andre Serrano's Piss Christ is the original shock art.
Mm,
So somebody has dubbed it the original shock art, which is quite interesting. Oh,
what?
it actually got damaged. Somebody smashed the frame it was in.
Whoa.
Mhm. Let me Okay, so on April 17th, 2011, a print of Piss Christ was vandalized beyond repair by Christian protesters while on display during the I Believe in Miracles exhibition at the Collection Lambert in a contemporary art museum in France. Serrano's photo of the church was also vandalized in the attack. Interesting. I mean, fair.
Mhm.
It's religion is a very tricky subject, particularly in art.
Mhm. Totally.
I don't know. I'm probably gonna say meh.
Yeah. I feel like it was
Ba-
between this is good and meh, and I'm leaning a little bit more towards meh.
Yeah, because based off of our both of our initial responses to like when you asked me how I feel about it, like that's how I feel about it is pretty like okay,
Mhm. Could take or leave.
quite literally. Okay, the next one we're going to talk about is Gorilla Girls, a piece by Gorilla Girls from 1989, and this one is titled "Do Women Have to Be Naked to Get into the Met?" Um, which is probably one of the most famous feminist art pieces, I would say, ever. And it's I'm sure people are probably familiar with it, but it's basically just like a visual um that has the title listed in big bold print. It's got a yellow background, um, and then it reads a stat, which I will get up just now because I have forgotten it off the top of my head. But oh, I've got the Celtic score on a different tab because the football is on and I want to keep up with it for Blaine. He's at the football. That's why I'm looking at it. Okay, so it says less than 5% of the artists in the modern art sections are women, but 85% of the nudes are female. So when I saw this for the first time IRL, or maybe it was a print of it, I'm not entirely sure. When I saw this, I had never seen it before or heard of it before, and I loved it. Um, and I still really love it because, these are still, unfortunately, issues that are still ongoing. There seems to be, I mean, my art class and probably my grays, it was predominantly uh, female students. And then, but yet the art world is still overly saturated by famous, rich, white, cis, straight men.
I know groundbreaking now still holds true today, unfortunately. Um, yeah, I feel like again this is one of those where I'm like this is definitely in the top tiers to me. I'm okay, I'll admit it. Like I don't have to admit anything. I think this is good.
Sure.
I think this is a gag.
Yeah. Wait, you think this is gag?
I think so.
Okay. Well, yeah.
It doesn't have, like, the kind of, like, the shockingness to it that well, I don't know now.
I mean, at
It
the time, it definitely was very like it. Obviously, this in it now, it could be like not to. This is probably sounds really bad, but it could be an Instagram infographic now. You know what I mean?
mm,
Um, that you would just swipe past and maybe share it on your story and be like, "This is ridiculous. We should do something about this." But whereas, like at the time, it was probably a fact that like nobody knew.
mhm. Plus it's so,
Like
like, succinct and to the point,
for
so I really
sure.
appreciate that. What do you think? Would you put it in gag or would you put it in
I would say I'm gonna say gag because yeah, I don't have anything to admit. I do love it.
mhm.
So it's being top tiered for us.
But we might be biased. But also this whole list, we're biased. But that's the whole
That's the whole
point.
point.
That's the whole point. Um,
Next.
next, so in 1995, Ai Weiwei he did a piece called "Dropping a Han Dynasty Urn." Um, I believe this was a performance.
It was. But
Yeah.
what it ended up as is a series of three photographs.
hmm
It's a
Um,
actually it says I just googled it and it says that it's deemed a photographic artwork.
oh, thank you. I was
Mhm.
wondering what it was. Um, yeah, so this one I feel like again similar to Erase de Kooning of art as destruction and what does it mean to not even destroy a masterpiece, but like destroy a piece of history. Like this was really controversial, especially like where this came from, like the Han Dynasty, like that, like that's like a lot of power in that
Yeah.
history.
So the photograph is of Ai Weiwei actually doing the act of dropping the urn. So in the first image, he's holding it. In the second image, you can see the urn suspended in the air, like about to crash to the ground. And in the third image, it is broken on the ground. And so, but something that fun fact, his photographer didn't capture it the first time, so he actually broke two urns doing this art piece.
Oh no.
And something that I don't know is also the urn was 2,000 years old.
Whoa.
The urns that he dropped, and they were valued at like $1 million each.
How did he get his hands on those?
So that was going to be my next question. I do not know.
Oh.
Oh wait, it's a frequently searched thing. So I'm gonna in 1993, upon learning that his father was ill, he returned to China. Okay, that doesn't matter because that doesn't actually tell us why or how he got it. So I don't really know how he got it. Maybe I'll do some further reading. But yeah, this is a remarkable piece. I love it. I
hmm
would say gag.
I would say gag 100% because I feel like that's almost like unthinkable, like getting a piece of like 2,000-year-old human history and like destroying it is one thing. And then, but not even just that, it's not like then calling that art is destroying
Mm, mm-hmm.
like history. I don't know. I think like amazing gag.
And also, just for context, I'm assuming I honestly don't really know much about this piece at all. Um, but I'm assuming it's to do with conversation around like cultural appropriation and um probably to do with like stealing of art, like precious artifacts within museums and things like that. That's the kind of thing that it suggests to me anyway. I don't really know much of the context behind why he did it, but
Mhm. Yeah, I'm not totally sure, but
I love it. And I also find it so funny that he had to do it twice. I'm sorry, that's so bad.
I know,
So
right?
as if he just had another one lying around. I don't know. Maybe what happens if it wasn't even real? He found it in a charity shop. Imagine.
I know that. Well, that's what I was thinking too. Is like then I was thinking back to artist shit. I was like, wait, hmm.
Hmm.
There's definitely a common theme here.
I guess we'll never know.
Do you want to talk about the
Okay.
next one?
Yeah, so we're gonna talk about our absolute fave, Paul McCarthy, and his 2003 piece called Piccadilly Circus. Um, so this is basically a performance slash video piece that depicts Osama bin Laden, um, the Queen, and
I think George Bush.
George Bush, yeah. Basically with these like massive uh McCarthy style paper mache heads. I'm assuming they're paper mache, I don't think they are. These massive big like caricatures essentially of these figures just getting up to no good in, is it supposed to be the White House?
Um, I think so, or something like
It
that, or
was
maybe it
also
was
it was also completely improv, by the way. That's something that I found out.
really.
Hmm. So do you know anything else about this? Because I don't know a whole lot about this one.
Well, this one I picked because I feel like a lot of Paul McCarthy's work could maybe fill in like fall under this list. But the reason why I
Mm.
picked this one was just because of the three um like political figures that he chose, I thought. Or not even political figures, I don't know if like but like controversial
Yeah, maybe people that
people.
you don't necessarily feel comfortable making fun of, or
Yeah, and
I
they
guess
were
it's sort
like
of like I guess sort of like imagine if these three people were in a room together.
and like they were
Like
doing like what were they doing? Like they were like smearing liquids everywhere and like I think being like really crass. I don't know if they were actually having sex, but it was like implied.
yeah, yes. I mean, it does sound just like classic McCarthy stuff, doesn't it?
Mhm.
Um, but it was basically supposed to be kind of like a tea party sort of thing. Like that's what it was kind of like depicting at the start, and then it all just kind of turns to carnage and chaos. I think this is gag. Obviously, I assume that that's what you would say as well.
Yeah, I think so.
Why were you hesitant?
Well, just because well, maybe because you and I haven't done enough research into this one particularly, but I don't really know. Again, I don't really know if this like fits into the list of stunt art. I don't really know what the like actual message was, but again,
Well, like
I think it
realistically,
definitely was
does
shocking fit into
yeah,
that.
controversy, shocking, shock factor. I think this is
Mhm.
stunt art because yeah, like, but McCarthy just does. I think apart from obviously, um, well, no, I think that a lot of his work is to provoke and
Mhm.
to like to get a kind of visceral reaction, which this I would like to look in further into actually what people said about it.
Mhm. Yeah. I know me too. I'd love to see, yeah, like what the reception of it was. But yeah, I think
Mm,
definitely like when you think of something shocking, McCarthy
mm,
comes to mind.
for sure. The next one I want you to talk about because I'd never heard of this before, and
Um,
I actually like I have a lot to say.
this one is super super controversial. I saw it the other day on TikTok was the first time I was introduced to it and then kind of like looked into it further. And then when I was doing artist research for Prickly Pear, I came across it in one of my art books as well. This is by Wim Delvoye, and it's not one like kind of the body of work is tattooing pigs or tattooing skin. So this started in 2004 and it's ongoing. The reason why we're gonna talk mostly about pigs, but he also tattooed the back of a person, and the person under the agreement that this person will occasionally come and sit in an art gallery for like the duration of the show, and then also okay, wait, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. With the pigs, he'll tattoo these pigs like their whole back and their whole body while they're alive while they're alive, and then will either sell the pigs when they're alive, or once the pigs die, their hide will sell for like thousands, if not millions of dollars. And so the person also agreed to have their hide, I'm using in quotes, their skin will be sold as well once they die.
Well, he stuffs the pigs mainly for to exhibit.
Like taxidermy pigs.
Mhm.
But sometimes in galleries, he'll just have pigs wandering around
Yeah.
in the gallery.
And when we're talking about being tattooed, they're like being tattooed uh like an English bald football fan man with like a sleeve, and where that's the kind of tattoos we're talking about. We're talking about like, because I think that also like the way that he tattoos them is also like just so like bizarre.
Mhm.
Like as in what he puts on them. And I
Yeah.
also, when I was finding the images for this, oh my fucking god, I there is this one image of him, and so he sedates the pigs, right? So he like puts them to sleep. I guess that's like one of the only humane thing that he, or ethical thing that he can do. So thank God he's doing that. Um, but there's this image that I found, and he is kind of like has this pig that's knocked out, and he's working on it. He's tattooing it, but he's like posing to the camera, like lifting its tail up so you can see its like full arsehole, and he's like smiling this most like l- weird, gross smile, and like pointing at the pig's arse hole, and it's just like it doesn't even that to me isn't art. That's like some weird like jackass wannabe like that. It's just I absolutely hate it. I think it's so, and yeah, like maybe I actually am really interested to talk about this with Blaine, because he does like to humble me quite quick, which I always enjoy that. But like I definitely don't think that um I have that response just because I'm veggie. Like I don't think that like even if I was still a meat eater, I think the normal reaction to have to this piece is to be absolutely like outraged and disgusted by it.
Mhm. Yeah, I feel like yeah, I agree with you. I feel like it's like I feel like there's like a part of me that's like I can like this is gonna sound weird, but like appreciate like the controversy around it. Like I
Oh,
think
for sure.
that
Like
like
like yeah, 100%. Like if you're gonna, we already said this, if you're gonna go for it, go for it. Like if you want to shock people, like it's hard to shock people and disgust people in this day and age. Like it is.
mhm. Yeah. So I think it definitely does that, but also so I don't know, like that you describing the photo of him like pointing at the pig's like asshole, like I just like ugh, the type of man that it would take to do this. I'm just like, get over yourself. Get
I
over
know, and
yourself.
also the fact that oh, we're putting it in here.
Well, that was just my reaction to it, so I feel like naturally.
Yeah, he that the tattooing pigs is getting bottom tiered. But also the
Mhm.
fact that he calls them sculptures, like after they're when they're stuffed and then exhibited in a gallery. I just find that so weird, man. Like that is so weird. Imagine you like had your dog taxidermied and you were like, "This is a sculpture of my dog." I just don't know. That just makes me feel so weird.
Mhm. I know, like if anything, like the tattoo could be like I could take that as a drawing or a painting, but a sculpture, like I don't know. Yeah, I don't know about this one.
I really don't like it. It makes me feel so uncomfortable. But then that's
Mhm.
why it's stunt art, you know?
That's why it's stunt art, and that's the because I feel uncomfortable, that's why I'm like, Well, maybe I don't know. I don't know because I like when art does that.
Anyway, the whole idea of pigs as a living walking canvas, like, just no.
No, surely
Why does
not.
it have to be permanent?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, man. I hate it. Sorry.
How would you feel
Next.
if he tattooed the hide after the pig died? Like if it was like
That's
the hide was a canvas.
I mean, that's completely different.
Yeah.
And also a completely different um that's a completely different discussion altogether in general, because that's the same way as being like, oh, I have this bear rug, but it died of natural causes, and like I found it in the woods and then turned it into a bear. Into a rug. I would still find that weird.
Mhm.
So I guess, yeah, just leave like the animals out of the
Leave them
art,
alone.
please.
They didn't do anything to deserve this.
So the next one I also had never heard of before. This is
Mhm.
a every day is a school day.
I know the next 3 actually I found while I was researching this episode. So I hadn't heard of them either.
Okay, do you want to
And
talk about this one?
they all happened in 2011.
And they're all by
They
women.
uh the ne- really the horse one is too?
Mhm.
Whoa.
Mhm.
Go women.
Well, we'll see about that. We'll see. Wait. Stay tuned for that, because actually, I'm not sure. Right.
Okay. So this one is Marnie Kodak. This work, like I said, was made in 2011. This is called The Birth of Baby X. And essentially, she gave birth to her baby in a gallery, like as a performance. So anyone could just like come into the gallery and watch her give birth to her child. Educational, honestly.
um, I don't know. I also, when I was reading a little bit about this, because I honestly didn't spend much time with it because I really don't like it.
Mhm.
Uh, she considers her son that she birthed at the gallery. She considers him a living, walking piece of art.
That's gonna go straight to his head. That is dangerous. Oh, I'm walking art? No, don't need that. Not that ego.
um, where should we rank this?
Well, I was gonna say meh, simply take or leave because like meh. But now knowing that she considers her son art, I feel like surely not because like just because you're an artist doesn't mean that every single thing that you do, I don't know, that just makes it seem like you're taking yourself a little bit too seriously.
I definitely, when I was drafting the names of the tiers, I would definitely think surely not is for
Surely
this
not.
one. Yeah.
Yeah. But
Um,
but I don't know. I kind of yeah. Yeah, I agree. I agree.
okay.
Final answer.
The next one is oh, I don't
Do
really
you want
want
to
to
talk
talk
about
about this
this
one.
one?
Yeah, sure. So the next one is by an artist named Marion Leval Jeanette. Jeanette?
Mm.
Unsure. And this piece is called May the Horse Live in Me. And oh man. So it's basically, I'm just gonna read, I don't even want to say it in my own words. I'm just gonna read what the Melbourne Science Gallery has to say about this piece. Also funny that it's from in a science museum. The performance is a performance from 2011. The performance May the Horse Live in Me is an attempt at bioart and extreme body art in which an animal body, in this case a horse, is hybridized with the human body through an injection of horse's blood. Yeah. Also, when you told me about this, I was the first time, like last week when we were just kind of going through them all, I was cooking dinner at the same time. So Georgia was sitting in my ear and was like I had my laptop like sitting on the counter and I was like chopping vegetables and like cooking, and she told me about this, and I fully thought that you had said that she got cum injected into her.
Oh, no, 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 no.
So, like, into her bloodstream. So until I did research at the weekend, I was like, "Oh my god, this is actually not as bad as I thought." Because
No, she
if you
just
have
got
a
go ahead.
because if I'm sorry, if you thought like imagine thinking that that was what the artwork was, then finding out it was blood. I was like, "Oh, okay, that's fine." when I, no, it's still really not fine.
Yeah, so she got the horse's blood, like, almost like a blood transfusion?
Yeah,
Yeah.
apparently.
And then does it say, like, how she felt afterwards?
No, but you said something about that.
I think when I was reading, it said that she, like, felt like she wasn't in her own body, like, it felt like there was, like, a physical sensation, like, she felt different in her body because
I
of
mean,
it.
no shit. That's absolutely vile.
Like, really, like, queasy and sick because, like, it's not your blood. I don't know.
I can't even imagine how that must feel. Like, I'm gonna say surely not.
Surely not, but also, like, that's like a committing to, like, an idea. You like, she full sent. She fully sent. That's wild. That's so ballsy. I could never do that.
Yeah, because why would you have to be a certain type of person to say, ah, yes, this is a good idea? Or even, ah, yes, this is something that I am willing to do. Let's be real here.
And I feel
Where would
like,
you rank it?
I mean, I guess surely not because I definitely feel some type of way. It's not meh, it's not middle, but it's
Hmm.
not, I don't know if it's good. I don't really know what the purpose of that was. To
I
see
don't
if she
know then.
could.
I don't know. I don't know. Moving swiftly on because, ugh.
Oh my god, to the next one that I happened to tell you while you were eating your dinner, I think, actually at this
Yeah,
point.
it was, yeah.
So this one also done in 2011 by an artist named Millie Brown. This one is called Nexus Vomitus, and it's where the artist will drink colored milk and then vomit it onto a canvas to create a painting. I hate this, but I hate vomiting. I will do anything in my power to never vomit. I hate it when other people vomit. I am like anti vomit. I think this is so disgusting. I tried to watch the performance on her website and could not. I couldn't even she like literally she drank the milk and I just closed out the tab. I was like,
Oh my god, I didn't know that she had them on there. I actually might do a little bit of investigation.
I mean, gosh, if you want to, but like this, an absolute no, an absolute no for me. But again, I hate vomit.
Well, I was gonna say get over yourself because I also just find the whole thing just so stupid. Like, I don't, I don't like it at all, and I also don't the the work that is produced. Sorry, the work that is produced. Sorry.
I'm gonna puke right now.
No,
I was just thinking about
don't.
the work they produce because it's milk. Like it's milk. It's like it's gonna vomit it up
Okay,
milk.
okay, okay. We should. I was gonna say surely not, but I actually just think that the end product is also so disgusting and not no, it's not disgusting. The end product is just shit. It's not good art at all. So I'm gonna say get over yourself.
Yeah. Okay,
Hmm.
2014. Paul McCarthy was, I want to say, commissioned. I don't know if he was
Oh
commissioned.
really?
But he did this massive. Well, I mean, it's a public artwork. I don't think you could just go and do that.
Mm.
So I don't really know exactly the backstory of it, but he uh, made a Christmas tree for the middle of Paris. How sweet. Christmas
Aw.
time. However, the tree, which is like very pared down, undetailed tree, um, it looks just like a butt plug, just like a massive butt plug.
24 meters high. Inflatable butt plug.
I love this piece. I think it's so funny.
I love it too. I also just love the documentation of just like the it towering over buildings and like people looking so insignificantly tiny. I love it. I'm gagging at this.
And it's so like it's obviously vulgar, but like
It's
if you don't
not.
know, but if you know, but if you know, you know, but if you don't, like children would see that and be like, "Oh, it's just like a simple tree." Like
Hmm.
no, like I feel like it's like I don't know.
It's so funny, man. I love
It's
it.
so
I'm
funny.
gonna
I love
say,
it.
is it
Gag.
getting top? It's getting top tiered.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, the next one is by, how do you say his name?
Maurizio Catalan, and it's entitled America, which was made in
Oh,
2016.
thank you.
And it's a solid gold toilet that was installed in the Met, and it was actually stolen.
Oh, remember I asked you, is it still stolen? Do we know?
I'm as far as I know, but I didn't see if it was returned. I don't think anyone would have returned it. I think whoever stole it probably smelted it into gold bars, and they're rich now. So
Well, yeah, I mean, but it was a fully functioning
yeah, it
toilet
was fully functioning.
made of 18 karat gold.
Um,
I think
Catalan as an artist, I'm like, get over yourself. But this, a little bit. I think some of his work is good. Some of his work is like, I roll. This one, I like that it's entitled America and it's a functioning gold toilet.
yeah, I would say meh. I would say middle tier
You're
for
gonna do
me.
meh.
What would you say?
I was gonna say this is good,
Just because like
but it is a bit on the nose, you know.
yeah, agreed. And also like I don't know. Imagine like Damien Hirst. Imagine this was a Damien Hirst piece. How would you feel then?
Well, I mean, but it's not though.
I know, but the point I'm trying to make is like, okay, so you can make a toilet out of 18 karat solid gold. Like,
But I also think I'm just looking at the year 2016, and that was the year that Trump was elected president, and I feel like that this really just shows like the disparity of wealth highlights in America. Also, the fact that like America's like literally going down the shitter right now. Like I don't know. I think for the time of it, what was happening politically,
I don't think it has any sort of controversy around it though. Like, how is it? It's just like maybe a little bit funny.
yeah, yeah, I don't really know what the reception of it was because I think most people are like, well, yeah, okay, we'll do meh.
Meh.
Yeah,
Perfect.
there, perfect. We have three more to do.
Mm-hmm.
Um, all right, so in 2017, an artist named Abraham Poincheval.
I would go with
Probably I'm
that.
saying it wrong. I don't know exactly what this piece is called, but basically he um, stored himself in a 12-ton boulder for a week in the gallery. And you
Mm-hmm.
can kind of tell from this tiny little image, like, it's not like he's in a little like space that he can move around. He's like literally like sitting there. Like,
Yeah, so just for the people who aren't watching this segment,
oh, thank you.
there is a big boulder and he is carved out um basically just the exact space that he would need to he can't move inside this boulder and the exact space that he would need and he's so bizarrely decided this is something that I find so interesting. He's decided to like position himself sitting up. So he's like sitting up with his arms outstretched in front of him. Like imagine sitting on a chair with your arms, with your head looking directly, like facing forward, and your arms just reached out in front of you, but you're suspended inside of a boulder, and what you're sitting on and in is a boulder. And the reason why this caught I mean, obviously, apart from the fact that he did it. The reason why this captured the media's attention is because he was in the boulder for a prolonged period of time, which I am currently going to find out.
Oh, I was
Uh,
just looking at this during our little break. It was a week.
okay, so he
It's
was
like a week.
inside it for a week. So he was completely surrounded by his own shit. And when you type in this piece into Google, the first thing that that comes up is the fact that artist is sitting inside of a boulder surrounded by his own shit.
Yeah.
And he also like he took in with him, he had like a tiny little like section of the boulder carved out where he could like store some like snacks and stuff. But apart from that, like imagine the smell. I'm sorry. Day 3, it would be over for me.
Yeah,
Like
I don't know why that wasn't.
how can you just like sit there?
I know. I think I know just like the idea of like not being able to move your body like at all is like so insane.
Also, from the viewer's point of view, I find it so interesting. Imagine going, how boring would it be to go and see that work on show? I think it would be cool because you'd be like, there's a literal guy in there, or like, apparently,
Mhm.
like, imagine at the end of the day when the gallery closed, he actually just got out. Like, again, we don't know.
Yeah. I know. I was reading an article about it and he said that he was really like touched by how people interacted with him because there was like that little crack
Mm.
in the boulder that he could hear what they were saying, and people would come and they would like share secrets and they would read him poetry and like just do like little things to like, I don't know, entertain him, pass the time kind of
I
thing.
I
And
honestly
he
hate that.
why?
I just think that's so fucking like, oh, I don't know, man. I just find that so like, ew, that's like an ick for me.
Really?
Yeah, like imagine being like, I went to the gallery today and there was a man inside a boulder, so I read him some poetry. Like, I don't know, I hate it. I think that's so stupid, and he looks ridiculous. I don't know what, I'm just so fixated on the way that he has decided, like out of all of the ways that you could position yourself, and maybe it was like a medical thing, maybe he got advice like to sit up straight is probably better than to like, I don't know, be curled up in a ball or whatever. But like I just think it's so funny to look at. It's just so ridiculous.
Well, it just looks like he's like it like the position, it looks like he's just like typing on a computer. There's no computer, it's definitely not, but it just like that's like the position that he's in is like
Work from home mode unlocked inside a boulder.
yeah, literally. I'm like, quarantine season 1.
That is so
Um,
funny. I think this is so dumb. And also he was like, he also said that he couldn't sleep because like of the sitting up position. He said he found it so difficult to actually get to sleep. I
mhm.
was like, maybe I don't think the sitting up thing was the problem. I think you being inside a boulder was probably the issue.
Inside a fucking boulder, like, how uncomfortable. And this is
So,
not the first time he's done something like this. He's like there's, like, tons of other times where he's, like, completely restricted his body for a number of days. Like,
oh really?
yeah, this is not the first
Mm.
or the last thing that he did. This
So
is just
where
kind of his
where are we ranking it?
I'm either thinking meh or surely not.
I'm gonna say meh because like I can appreciate the hustle. Um, I can appreciate the 127 hours inspo. Like, I don't know. I'm gonna say meh as well.
Mhm.
So this he's getting mid-tiered.
Mid-tiered. Okay, these last 2, I'm sure you can already tell by I mean, if you're watching this, you can tell what this is already, but these are 2 that are pretty recent, so there's a good chance that you may have already heard of them. Um, so the second to last one is Banksy's Girl with Balloon, um, controversy that happened at the auction house. Was it Sotheby's or Christie's? I think it was Sotheby's. Um, and then after that, it was called Love Is in the Bin. Do you want to talk
Mhm.
about this one? Do you want me to?
No, you can, 'cause, I think that I
So
just sorry.
if you
These last 2 are just so uninspiring and make me so angry. Well, particularly the
okay, well,
last one makes me angry.
ooh, does it really? I kind of like the last one. Anyways, we're getting ahead of ourselves. So this one, if you've been living under a rock or perhaps in a boulder, you might have not heard of this one.
Mm.
Girl with Balloon is one of Banksy's most iconic images that he is tagged all over the world. This was a one of the original prints of this work. So it's like um, a red balloon trailing away from a little girl who's painted in black, about to reach for the balloon. So this was put in a giant gold frame, and it was up for auction at Sotheby's in 2018. And as soon as the last bid was made and the auction gavel went down, um, a shredder was activated within the frame, and the print slowly was being shredded right in front of everyone's eyes. And then the shredder actually jammed halfway through, and so only half of the work was shredded, and everyone was like, "Holy shit, what's going on?" Um, Thinking that maybe the work was now useless, or not useless, worthless. But then, of course, it actually really just ended up like doubling the value in it. So then it was worth even more than it was before.
So it was just because I forgot how much it was actually sold for initially, and it was sold for 1,042,000 pounds. Um, that was before it, obviously that was after before the shredding action happened.
Hmm.
Tell me what you
Yes.
think about this.
Um, well, I think that Robert Rauschenberg walked. No, ran. No, wait, walked so Banksy could run. Um, this again is following a similar thing to a lot of the other ones that we already talked about, which is the art of or creation through destruction, and that was kind of Banksy's uh, like the theme that he was working with when he did that. But then it was kind of like something that had like backfired a little bit. Like it was supposed to be like a commentary on like, oh, like we put these like arbitrary price tags on works, and then what does it mean if we destroy them? Like what happens to that money? But then it kind of backfired because then it was like just in turn was like worth more money.
Yeah, everyone was like, "Oh my God, this is the art. Like this is what you pay for when you get a Banksy. It's controversy and I'm going to buy into the controversy." Like
Mhm.
you're kind of missing the point here.
But also like as an art stunt, it did all of the things.
Oh, for sure.
It was all the criteria.
100% as an art stunt, it captured the attention of the media of like everyone was talking about this when it happened.
For, like,
Um
a while too, like,
oh,
it wasn't just like a
mhm.
like,
Yeah.
it but that's pretty classic Banksy, I feel like he's so accessible.
Mhm. For sure. I would say, okay, I'll admit it, this is good. That's where I would put it.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, great.
Okay, so the last one finally, we're almost done, you guys. Um, the I'm sure everyone saw this one as well. This happened in 2019. Catalan, the same guy who did the gold toilet, he duct taped a banana to a wall at the art fair in Miami, Art Basel in Miami, um, and then sold 3 iterations of this work for or no, sold 2 iterations of the work for $120,000, and then the third one sold for $150,000, which was like hugely controversial because everyone was like, "What the fuck? How could you spend that much money on a banana? Everyone has a banana. Everyone has duct tape. Like what?" So then, performance artist. I don't know why I have only. Is that what his name is? Tuna?
Yeah, that's what I've got here too.
Okay. He did a performance called Hungry Artist, where he just took the banana off the wall and then ate the banana. He did this with Catalan's permission, I believe. So again, kind of like
Yeah, and so I've seen the original video for it, and ugh, I just hate this.
underwhelming.
I just hate this so much. It's just this stupid guy, and like I just hate the image of him just standing there, like facing everybody, and just being like is over exaggerated, like chomping down on this banana, and like the gallery director comes like rushing out and is like, no, 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 that's art, that's art, oh, that's art, you can't, what are you doing, did you just do that? And then he's like, this is hungry artist, and I'm just like, oh, it just makes my blood boil. I hate it so much. I just utterly despise it. And then within like a matter of minutes, obviously another banana was just taped to the wall. So like,
Because
what?
what was even like, I know the performance to me. Okay, so we'll have to. I don't know why I put this as two because I kind of want to separate them, but the the banana, the like comedian that was purchased was a certificate of authenticity. And so the actual that specific banana and that specific duct tape, that's not the art. The art is the certificate of authenticate authenticity.
Yes.
Um like it's the idea that was purchased. So
Mm-hmm.
like anyone can put a banana and duct tape on a wall, but not everyone can put Catalan's banana and duct tape on a wall. So like a
Sure.
gallery wouldn't be able to display it unless they had borrowed or purchased the certificate. So that's why I'm like, again,
I
I'm like, it's like the cake smearing on the glass case. I'm like, the cake is wiped off, the banana is put back. I feel like that as a performance, hungry artist, get over yourself. Like, surely not. Like, that was such a bad performance. Comedian, though, I kind of like comedian as an art piece because
You're
fully
joking.
or not as an art piece but as an art stunt, like the amount of money that's flowing through art fairs is like absolutely ridiculous. Like people have like the wealth disparity, like, and the opportunity of being in an art fair, like it's just so ridiculous. And just like another like, I don't know, like there's so many different elements of the art world that are just like a pissing contest. Like the reason why people can like, and like there's like all these like idea like what am I even trying to say, like with money laundering through art, like millionaires can buy artworks, but and then if they lend those artworks to galleries, they can use it as a tax write-off. So it's basically just like a way for them to like not get taxed on the money that they have. And so comedian being like literally a banana and duct tape, the most accessible materials in the world, were sold for $150,000. Like that's fucked. I feel like that totally just highlights how stupid the art market is. And so that as an art stunt, I think, okay, I'll admit it, this is good. Hungry artist, bin it in the bin.
Mm-hmm. Okay, fair. You've convinced me. I this is annoying that I have downloaded just the two images together, but let's for the record say that um they're separate.
Okay, for the record.
Okay, so
Because
just to round
can
up.
you move it up
Oh,
or down, or is it just it's just done?
mm-hmm.
Oh,
Why?
okay. Because I don't know. Should we put it in the okay? I'll admit it, this is good, or should we leave it down there?
No, absolutely not, because it's got the hungry artist in it, and I think that is the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, that one was stupid. I hate that.
So we have finally got round to um
Near the end
cat
of this.
yes. So just for those who are not watching, and who are listening instead, um bottom tier, we'll start from the bottom up. So bottom tier, which we titled Get Over Yourself, we have the
Chris
shoot.
Burden's Shoot.
Hmm. We also have seedbed. We have tattooed pigs. We have the paint vomit. I don't even know what it's called. I hate it.
Nexus
And
Vomitus.
yes, and we also have hungry artist. Then in the next tier up, which is called Surely Not, we've got um
Oh, Birth of Baby X.
yeah, the birth of baby X, and also let the horse may the horse live in me. The next tier up, we've which is called which is our meh tier, our mid tier, which we could simply take or leave. Georgia, do you want to read them out?
Yes, you've got LHOOQ, Piss Christ, America, which is the gold toilet one, and then our guy who lives in a boulder for a week. And then in our second to best tier, we have, okay, I'll admit it, this is good. We have Erase de Kooning, Artist Shit, a photo sculptures in MoMA, and then Girl with Balloon, Love is in the Bin, Stunt. And then in our top and final tier, our gag worthy tier, we have Duchamp's Fountain, Baldessari's Cremation Project, Abramovic's Rhythm Zero, the Gorilla Girls, Do Women Have to Be Naked to Be in the Met, Ai Weiwei's Dropping Han Dynasty Urn, Paul McCarthy's uh, Piccadilly Circus, and Paul McCarthy's Tree.
The purpose of that, I guess. Maybe we should just talk about the purpose of that. Apart from it
Of the
being,
tier ranking.
yeah, because apart from it being so fun and just like, I love talking about art with you. And I also love discussing controversy and just, we got into a little bit about the way of the art world in general and things that we hate and things that we maybe like. Um, I think it's just really important to be critical, especially when things can make the news. Because obviously this idea started with a very mediocre art stunt that we felt didn't really serve a purpose, or didn't serve the purpose it maybe intended. It didn't shock anyone, because there's literally bulletproof glass in front of the Mona Lisa. So these are maybe some examples of things that um, could be considered shocking in certain ways and to certain people. And yeah, I think it was just a little bit of fun.
Well, I would just love to hear other people's opinions as well. I feel like we're going to put some, um, maybe some polls up on our Instagram story so we can hear
Mm,
how everyone else feels about these, if you agree with us or don't.
yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so my closing thoughts on this were um, something that I noticed while I was making the list was that, and I'm sure people have maybe clocked by now as well, but the list that we've compiled is overwhelmingly white and male, which is not surprising for the following reasons. The art world is an accessible playground for white male artists. They have the privilege of building a career and then get to take the piss out of or critique the systems designed for them, and then be praised or just further their career. Whereas marginalized groups have had a hard enough time simply building a career for themselves. And if they did some of the stunts mentioned above, they might never be shown in a gallery again. And something that that really came to mind in this was like Piccadilly Circus that McCarthy did. Like, if that was done by a not white artist, like, I feel like that artist would have been like blacklisted from every gallery. Like, I think that the reason a lot of these artworks were like shown and these artists still have careers after is because of like the systems in place for them.
Well, yeah, these work as much as they're controversial, they're also celebrated. Like
Mm-hmm.
we heard earlier that Abramovich called Seedbed iconic. Like, I'm sorry, like you're completely right, and I think it's so important to just acknowledge that this
Mm-hmm.
is like that is just so wild to me how, yeah, that it just these things have made certain people, it's elevated their careers.
Yeah, definitely.
And
Like
they're
Catalan
still
especially.
still respected, still, um if not more respected, like, and
Yeah, absolutely.
it just to not to do some of these things and not be ridiculed or embarrassed or fearing for their career or whatever, it's just that is a massive privilege that is just like so eye-opening.
Mm-hmm. Totally. Because it's not like when I was researching this, it's not like I wasn't looking for um like other artists. We have like a couple women in here. We have like a couple people that aren't white, but like they're definitely harder to come by.
Mm-hmm.
Um, for particularly like stunt art, I feel like definitely like there are obviously so many controversial works that are controversial because of the themes that they cover, but I felt like this was different. Like what we were looking, the criteria we were looking for was a little bit different.
Totally. Well, that was so interesting. I think in my
Mhm,
in my tiny
definitely.
in my tiny little opinion, that was really interesting and really fun.
Totally. I totally agree. Um, uh, so yeah, thank you so much to everyone who listened and or watched the video and podcast episode. We really, really appreciate that. And I know this one was a long one.
Oopsies.
Oopsies. But we would love to hear your opinions on this.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And yeah, I guess we'll see you in the next one.
See you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.
You've been listening to the Jiggle and Juice Show, episode 5. So, is stunt art shit? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Send us a DM on Insta or email us. We really hope you enjoyed hearing a little bit more about how it can be defined as well as critiqued. If you did like this episode, be sure to leave us a rating. We would really appreciate it. You can follow us on Insta at Jiggle and Juice or visit our website, jiggleandjuicecollective.com, where you can listen to our past discussions, check out our free support documents that aim to advise you on things we wish we'd been taught at art school, or explore our Artist Spotlight, a database showcasing artists from around the world to help artist block subside. If you'd like to support us, you can find a link to our Patreon in the episode description, as well as in the footer at our website. By subscribing to our Patreon, you would be helping us continue to create free and accessible support docs for recent grads and emerging artists. Gain access to our new Patreon members-only newsletter, and you can receive priority professional development help from us. Thank you so much for your support and encouragement, and we'll see you in the next one.